Let's see if this works. Okay, right, just going to load up the chat on my phone a minute, guys. Just bear with me a sec. Let's have a look here. Let's have a look. Right, yeah, drop us a message if you can hear me in the chat. I can see that, Lenny. I saw that comment. I saw that comment about the mic. The mic's always on, you know that. Yeah, let us know if you can hear us, guys. Let's have a look here. Can you hear me? Operators apart from Essex True Crime, so massive thanks to him for helping me out this evening. Welcome to you all. Matthew, OG007 Boxing UK, welcome to you. Bobby, thank you for the kind comment. Adam C. How many have we got? Probably about 8 or 9 questions, I think. If you've got a question for the channel or a question you wish to appear on the live stream, you can find that out, or you can find out how to put that question to me on the community tab. If you go onto the community section of the channel, you will see a post there which is regarding the live streams, and I will eventually get to all of them in time, hopefully. But welcome to you all. Thank you for joining me this evening. Shirley, I saw you there popping into the live chat. Hope you're well. Ryan Harris. Right, I've just got to shut my window. I always do this, don't I? Just bear with me a second. There we go. Anyway, how have you guys been? Have you been mourning the dead Queen today? I'm sure you all have been paying your respects, etc., etc. The funeral seems to have gone on for about 12 years, but hopefully back to normality tomorrow. Let's have a look here. Raj, welcome to you. Austin, thank you for joining us this evening. As I say, normal format as always. We did a members live stream the other day, a private members live stream to give back to the members of the channel. That went really well. Every member turned up actually, apart from one, which was Lutonian. I don't know why he didn't make it, but his absence was noted. And yeah, it went really well actually. Did about 45 minutes to an hour, just chilled out with a few of the members of the channel. And if you want to become a part of that, if you want access to the private live streams, probably doing about 2 or 3 a month, I'd imagine, just to give back to the members of the channel, you can find out how to become a member in the video description box below. Right, let's have a look here. Let's just catch up some of the chat. 82 of you here already, raring to go, as always. We'll give it another couple of minutes, and then we'll kick off, as I say, with the viewers' questions. Not too sure how long this stream's going to go, probably about 45 minutes, maybe an hour. And as I say, I can't stress this enough, please do keep sending in your questions, as the more questions we have, the longer the streams will be, quite naturally. Right, oh, interesting. Let's just start with this one. Krav Kerno, I assume you're from Cornwall. I'm sure I've seen your name pop up here before. Ryan Harris, yeah, I did get your comment. I'm not sure if it's on this stream. I've got a few listed. I'm not sure if your one's on tonight's one, but it'll be on the next one if it isn't. But yeah, I have got them, don't worry. Could you perhaps one time do a then and now video on Workhouse Lane? If in ever passing, I'd like to pop down, but I gather it's all changed now. Yeah, that's quite an interesting... Yeah, that's a video I could make, isn't it? Compare the original crime scene photographs to what it's like now. I'm not sure if Essex True Crime has done a video like that, but it sounds like something he possibly would have done, but maybe not. But yeah, that's certainly something I can look at doing, trying to match up the photographs so you can see exactly how it's changed. Yeah, definitely be up for doing that at some point. Stefan, welcome to you. Thanks for joining us this evening. Hotspurs, welcome to you. Right then, let's just kick off with a few viewers' questions, shall we? Scroll back up here. Wayne Holland. Hi. Hello. Couple of questions that have puzzled me. Number 1, if there was 8 shots fired, why was there only 7 cartridges found? Now, a lot of people suggest that this is because one of the cartridges remained in the gun, possibly. I don't have an exact answer for you, but I think that's the most common belief, is that one of the rounds, one of the cartridges, remained inside the gun. Obviously, there is the possibility that one was taken away from the scene, but I don't really see what use that would serve when you've got the rest of them lying around. So yeah, that's the best answer that I can give you regarding that question. Number 2, the guy who had the Range Rover finance in his name, so I believe that was Peter Cuthbert, would he have had to have kept on paying it? I feel bad for him if he did. Not like he could say, I want my car, I'm paying for. Yeah. I believe it was Peter Cuthbert that sorted out the finance for the Range Rover that Tucker, Tate and Rolfe were found in. I've got no idea how that sort of stuff would have worked. I guess he would have had to have paid it. I'm not sure. I mean, or would that be covered under some sort of insurance? I don't really know. Yeah, I mean, what could he have done, really? Or did it go back to the finance company? I don't know. If anyone's got any idea of what would have happened, as I say, put it in the chat box below. But I'm not sure personally. I guess my view would be that he would have to pay for it, but I've got no confirmation of that. I haven't heard of anything that took place since the murders regarding payments for the Range Rover or anything like that. Graham Neary, thank you for your question. If there was a lookout on the night of the murder, would you have been able to see both car entry points from the Wheatsheaf pub? Well, that's quite interesting you said that, because I've brought this up on here because I was having a look myself, and I didn't actually realise how far away the lane actually is from the Wheatsheaf. So let's just go back to the lane itself. Now, this is obviously White House Farm. White House Farm there, sort of outgrounds. I'd imagine, talking about this and looking at this here, when we talk about the farmer's Land Rover being parked out in the open, this is kind of where I imagined it being parked. I'm not sure if it was actually parked there, but as you can see, there's plenty of parking area for the residents of White House Farm to park vehicles. So I'd imagine, as I say, that Land Rover was most likely out in the open overnight on December the 6th. Anyway, let's zoom forward to the lane. One moment, if we can get here. Right, so yeah, this is the entry point to the lane, obviously coming off of Main Road. That's where the Range Rover travelled down on December the 6th. So as you can see, naturally straight away, there's a bend here. It's not within any sort of real sort of seeing distance from the Wheatsheaf pub. But when you look at actually how far away the Wheatsheaf is, we'll get there in about 10 years, so just bear with me. You know, it takes a little bit of time to get up this road, but we'll get there. Oh, hang on. See, another interesting point to show you here. This is where the shooting range is, I believe. See where that car is there? Or that truck? That's where I believe the shooting range is. So that's how close the shooting range is to White House Farm, and obviously the entrance to the lane. Now, if we go up this road, further up Main Road, I guess really the only way it could be used in terms of a lookout is if the Range Rover was driving past the Wheatsheaf. But again, the Range Rover, by all accounts, approaches from the opposite direction. So again, there isn't really anything that tells us that the Wheatsheaf played any part in terms of having someone being a lookout or anything like that. But you can see here, although it's taken me, I probably could walk this a bit quicker than I'm doing this, but we'll get there in a minute. We're not far away now. You can see the Wheatsheaf is actually quite some distance from the entrance to the lane. And you can see there in the distance, when it stops going blurry, that sort of hedgerow there, I believe that is the alternative lane, also part of Workhouse Lane, but something I call the alternative lane, which gives access to where the Range Rover was. So when you see me walking down the alternative lane, I would imagine it's just the other side of those hedges there. But anyway, we're nearly at the Wheatsheaf. It's not there anymore, obviously, the Wheatsheaf. It's been a restaurant for quite some time. It's a restaurant and also an equestrian centre. Is that what it's called? Horse place? Place where they ride horses. You can see there, I believe that's where the horses, the equestrian part is. And then just further up here, you have to turn off, here we go, for where the Wheatsheaf used to be. So this is, by all accounts, the car park where Darren Nichols turned up first of all. He parked here, parked in that car park of what was the Wheatsheaf pub back in the day. Couldn't get signal, decided to come back out here onto the main road, travel back past the lane, and then turn left somewhere up near Meadow Road. But this was what was the Wheatsheaf back in 1995, and you can clearly see here there's definitely no line of sight to the lane whatsoever. It doesn't really serve much of a purpose in terms of a lookout post if the Range Rover was in fact heading from the other direction in the first place. But anyway, yeah, thank you for that question, much appreciated. Anyway, let's just catch up with some of the chat here a minute while I'm here. Thank you, Ryan. Yes, I'm fine. Thank you for asking. Right, let's have a look here. Let's have a look. Davey, welcome to you. Andy, welcome to you. Jack, welcome to you. Thank you for joining us this evening. I'm pretty sure you were on the members live stream, weren't you, the other day? I've always believed Womeson still 100% innocent. However, their alibis are questionable. Any thoughts on that? Yeah, the alibis are they're bad. They're terrible, aren't they? Really, they're not very good. Steele's one isn't too bad. I don't think, but Wome's one, in terms of no, I've never been to Rettendon. Actually, yeah, I have been to Rettendon. I was collecting a car from Darren Nichols. They're not rock solid, are they? You know, but I mean, is an alibi, you know, ever really rock solid? Sometimes they aren't, are they? If you're not actually with somebody, it's quite hard to you know, to have a concrete alibi as such. But the alibis, they're not great. I wouldn't say they're you know, overwhelmingly positive in terms of them being completely unaware or having no connection whatsoever regarding the murders. I mean, could I be wrong? Absolutely. I mean, they could be telling the truth. I might be wrong. But they don't strike you, do they, when you listen to them for the first time? They don't strike you in those interviews as convincing, really, really convincing. But then again, we need to also consider the fact that they have been advised by their legal representatives. So if you've gone into an interview with the police and you're advised to give a no-comment interview, then naturally that's what you're going to do, because you're taking advice from someone who knows law. You know, they know what police can ask you. They know what the best response to that question would be. They know they have, what do they have, like a disclosure, is it called? A disclosure of evidence. So your solicitor or whatever will have an idea of what they're going to ask you, what the evidence is against you. And you may well be advised to give a no-comment interview. And are you really going to go against that? If you're someone who's in that situation being questioned on a triple murder, are you going to listen to someone who's got expertise in this field? Or are you going to think to yourself, actually, no, I'm not going to give a no-comment interview. I'm going to tell the truth. I'm going to tell them exactly where I was, what had happened. I don't know. I mean, personally, I think I would go down the lines of, you know, trusting my solicitor or someone who's got experience in, you know, that sort of stuff. But then also, again, it's worth remembering we're also looking at the drugs importation as well. It's not just the fact they're being questioned on the murders, and this is really, really important to get across to you guys. You can't really give a no-comment interview on one aspect of the interview. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can't just say no comment to the drug stuff, and then when they get to the murder, start reeling off a load of stuff like, no, I didn't do it, I was here, this and the other. Because when it goes to court, it's not going to look particularly good when you've said no comment to all this drugs importation. You're not answering any questions regarding that, but then you are willing to answer questions regarding the murder. If they'd done completely separate cases, separate charges, and it wasn't all, you know, put before the court of the Old Bailey as one whole massive case, then that would be a little bit different. But you know, they're lumping it all in together there, and I guess you either have the option of going no comment to everything or explaining everything. And they didn't really want to go down the route of explaining the drugs importation, did they? Because quite clearly, you know, they're banged to rights really where that's concerned. At least in my opinion, anyway. Anyway, let's catch up with the old chat. 125 of you here at the moment. Thank you for joining me this evening. Very kind of you all. As I say, probably go for about 45 minutes, maybe an hour if we can stretch it out that long. But we'll see how we get on. Shirley, welcome to you. Lindsay H. Rehab King, 1984. The General, welcome to you. Adam Piper, welcome to you. Rich G, the legend, he's here. But yeah, keep your questions coming into the chat if you fancy doing so. Floyd 1504, is Billy Jasper credible? The story about Mr. D seems believable in a lot of ways. Yeah, I don't have any problem whatsoever with the Billy Jasper theory in terms of who was involved, the motives, all that sort of stuff. I don't have a problem with that. What I have a problem with is the time of death. I just don't personally believe that they were killed at midnight. Could I be wrong? Yep, absolutely. But everything that I've read up on the case nothing tells me that they were killed at midnight. As I said, maybe I'm wrong, who knows. But in terms of the actual outline of the Billy Jasper theory regarding this person approached from this area, I drove the car, there was it was a deal that they went down there for a deal or something and they were double crossed. All that stuff, I've got no problem with believing that or buying into that or listening to that. But when we start talking about there's like a massive time period where there's no real verifiable sightings, none of their friends and family have heard from them, No one they know has seen them. They've just sort of vanished off the face of the earth between 7 and midnight. It's just too much of a stretch for me. Like having 26 voicemails on your phone, not cancelling the restaurant booking. Really, you can only go by it like the normal occurrences of how they normally behaved. And even like, I think one of the biggest clues is the restaurant manager. That guy said that Tucker used to eat there quite regularly, and he had cancelled in the past, but he had never, ever not shown up for a restaurant booking. And he had a meal booked for 8 o'clock. He called before that time period in the evening of December the 6th, increased that booking size. So if he's increasing the booking size for 8 o'clock and he's never cancelled a meal before, do we really believe that he's alive after 7 o'clock? Really, do we? I don't personally. But as I say, my own personal opinion. Sean, welcome to you. Thank you for joining us. Stevie O.S. Paul, thank you for joining us this evening. Brad M. Have you watched Carlton Leach podcast with James English? Parts of it, not all of it, Brad. No, but parts of it, yeah. Parts of it. Right, let's have a look here. Just going to catch up with the chat here. Shirley, crime scenes courtroom can only go for 45 minutes or an hour. Damn. Yep, that's the truth, Shirley. You know, got to hold my hands up there. Not a young whippersnapper anymore, I'm afraid. You know, you have your limitations when you get older. Anyway, let's have a look here. Dave Films 345. Can't believe you just put that in the chat box. Unreal, man. Right, let's have a look. Just a quick question if you have time. Do you think that Essex police in higher authority knew what was going to go down that evening? I'm not saying the police had any involvement in the killings, but they prevented Tucker, Tate and Rolfe from being arrested no matter what, so the execution could go ahead. This is one of those questions where obviously I don't know personally. But is it beyond the realms of possibility? Not really, because we've got these corrupt officers that are serving in Essex Police at the time who had a load of different criminal contacts on their books. We've got the whole Operation Tiberius stuff. I mean, if someone said, okay, you've got to put money on it, I would say probably someone did know, to be honest. When you look at all those documents, the Operation Tiberius, you look at the corrupt contacts that even Darren Nichols had. It's highly likely that some sort of crime family or someone in the know would have passed this information on to somebody. Someone might have got wind of it. It is possible, yeah. It's absolutely possible. Whether they did or not, I have no idea. But is it possible? Yeah, absolutely. Because you had police officers working with criminals, didn't you? Not being funny, that you had not just people who had what would you call it? Not handlers, informants. You didn't just have informants and police working together. You also had corrupt police and criminals working together. So there's every possibility that some sort of news or gossip may have got out before it happened. Yeah, absolutely. Highly likely, I would have thought. Let's have a look here. Dr. Toxic Cookie, welcome to you. I love that name. Airzism, here he is. He's in the chat. He's a bit late this evening. How are you? Hope you're well. All right, let's have a look here. Let's do the next question, shall we? Davy Rowe, or Davy Roo. I'm not sure how you pronounce that, but let's say Davy Rowe, shall we? Let's go with the first one. Okay. All right, mate. Yeah, I'm all right. How are you? Considering the glaring inconsistencies in the prosecution case, do you think the defence was incompetent on the setup to just get a prosecution, or were they ordered to just accept they were going to lose the case, as it's impossible for two men to get the sentences they did off the back of a statement from a self-confessed serial liar? I wouldn't say, I don't know. The thing is, we don't have all of the information, and it would be a bit short-sighted of me to sit here and say, yeah, the defence were incompetent or they were in on something. I certainly don't think that. But from what I've seen, and I've talked about this in previous videos obviously quite a lot, you try and build a picture up in your mind of what they're trying to portray to the jury. Are they talking about the case? Are they talking about the lack of evidence? Are they talking about some of the stuff that Darren Nichols has said that doesn't make any sense? Or are they really trying to downgrade Darren Nichols as a person, as a credible witness to these murders? or someone who was even involved in those murders. From what I've seen, and bearing in mind it's only what I've seen, there could be a lot more out there, but from the cross-examination I saw of Darren Nichols, they're mainly focused on basically just calling him a liar in general. They're not saying, okay, look, you've got a Passat vehicle, can you explain to us then why there's no tyre tracks down there matching that Passat? No oil leak. They did an oil test. There's no oil found down the lane from that vehicle. There's no gunpowder residue matching the cartridges used in the crime. They're not asking Darren Nichols those questions. They're talking about, okay, you lied on this occasion, didn't you? Yeah, I did. They're discrediting the person rather than fully focusing on some of the aspects of the case which can't be explained. And I think if I was, obviously I've got absolutely no law experience whatsoever, so don't take what I say as the gospel truth or whatever, but I would like to think that someone would, the way they would put it across would be looking at the evidence, because you're talking to a number of people, aren't you? You're trying to convince the jury of a certain event happened in a certain way or something didn't happen. I don't think attacking someone's character gets through to the jury about what is missing in the case, what's missing in terms of the evidence. Because the judge, and I mean, fair enough, fair play to the judge really, he said, take Darren Nichols' evidence, listen to Darren Nichols' evidence with caution. This is someone who has got something to gain by giving evidence. He was very straightforward, the judge. So it's the defence's fault, isn't it? Not being funny, if they don't get off, it's the defence's fault for not putting across a strong enough case. And there's so much information there that should have been enough to at least muddy the waters. I mean, just from the top of my head, okay, they talk about this phone call, don't they, from the Sorrel Horse that was made on the 6th. This is the call to arrange the meeting that night. When there's a call to Pat Tate the day before from the halfway house, the very place that Darren Nichols says that everybody meets up on the evening of the murders, there's a phone call from a payphone at the halfway house to Pat Tate's mobile. If I was part of the defence, I'd be saying, don't even worry about this Sorrel Horse call. That's got absolutely nothing to do with it. We're looking at this call here from the day before. Is it rather convenient that we have this individual here saying that they all met at this halfway house, yet coincidentally we also have a phone call going to Pat Tate, the person that you're now saying is the catalyst for these murders. That's kind of how I would have framed it. But they didn't do that, did they? It was all about Darren Nichols, his past, the fact that he had been involved in criminality in the past, and they didn't, from what I can gather, obviously, they didn't really fully focus on the facts of the case and some of the evidence which was missing if what Darren Nichols was saying was 100% factual. And yeah, I mean, obviously, I just don't think they did a very good job. They obviously didn't, did they? Because they got convicted. They didn't convince the jury that there was enough doubt in what Darren Nichols said. Basically, Darren Nichols put across a version of events that the jury believed, and that's really the basis of it, pretty much. 161 of you here. Thank you for joining me this evening. Thank you to Essex True Crime for moderating the chat. Much appreciated. Still trying to get Essex True Crime on the live stream. I was supposed to have Dave Films, but I've got an issue. Every time I plug my mic in, it sort of stops the speakers, so I've got to work out how to do a Skype call on it. But we do need Essex True Crime on here as well. He needs to make an appearance at some point. Peter, welcome to you. Thank you for joining us. Roy Newport, here he is. Don't worry, Roy. When the stream's finished, you'll be able to play it back from the start anyway, so don't worry about that. It's all good. Let's have a look here. Ian, welcome to you. Right, let's carry on with the questions, shall we? Just bear with me. Make sure the chat's live. There we go. Right, okay. Right. Jason Nunn. Do you truly believe Michael Steele and Jack Holmes were the killers? And if not, who do you think Darren Nichols... And if not, who do you think... No, I guess I'm supposed to say, do you think Darren Nichols was more involved? How come Tony Tucker's phone was called, etc., 26 times after 7 p.m, but not a call to Pat Tate? Just odd. Thanks for all you do. Thank you for your question. Well, there is loads of calls to Pat Tate, but they're obviously on a separate answer machine, and really the only one that's out there is Tony Tucker's mobile and Pat Tate's landline. I don't think they ever released the Pat Tate mobile phone voicemails for some weird reason. But But there would have been a lot of calls to Pat Tate. It's just that the ones from the phone were never released. The voicemails for his phone were never released for some reason. I don't believe that Michael Steele and Jack Womes pulled the trigger. No, I just don't believe that because of the way the crime was committed. I mean, as I say, could I be wrong? Yep, could be, absolutely. But I also think that they had some level of knowledge of what was going to happen. Whether they had some involvement in terms of luring them down the lane, or they just knew what was going to happen. I'd find it hard to believe that they had absolutely no idea what was going to happen that night. But I still don't think that they were the ones who actually physically killed them. They might have had some dealing, as I say, of getting them to the lane, but don't think that they shot them. Again, just my own personal opinion. All right, let's have a look here. Let's catch up with the chat. Thank you all for joining me this evening. Aaron, welcome to you. Whew. Let's have a look. Yeah, Essex True Crime has just put Craig's phone was lost, apparently. Yeah, by all accounts, yeah. So we don't have Craig Rolfe's mobile, we don't have his voicemails, and we don't have Pat Tate's mobile phone voicemails either. Make of that what you will. Let's have a look here. Pat had 2 phones. Yes, that's correct. We don't have either of the voicemails for those, do we? Yeah. Rich, welcome to you. Thank you for joining us this evening. Del Morgan. Okay, right, let's get on to the next question, shall we? Damien Green, thank you for your question. Was there someone called John Marshall involved? Yes, there was. And the reason I've included this because of that video I did a little while ago. John Marshall was the guy who appears in Donna Jagger's statement. He was the one that they were going to take this incoming drop to, all this product that was coming in by plane or whatever. According to Donna Jagger, it was going to be taken to John Marshall, or John Marshall was going to buy it off of them, by all accounts. Now, where it gets a little bit strange, and this is only something I've found out recently through one of the CCRC appeal documents, is that John Marshall was actually known to Michael Steele, and this is where it gets really bizarre, because you would have thought that if John Marshall was in on this whole setup thing, he was gonna buy the gear. He knew that Tucker, Tate and Rolfe were going to rip Steele off. It's a little bit weird that Steele has contact with Marshall after the murders, both before the murders and after the murders. By all accounts, Steele is making building a wall or something. This is from memory, from what I read in that document. Steele was building a wall at Gordon Road. I think this is right. I might be wrong, but I think this is right. Michael Steele was building a wall at Gordon Road, and John Marshall turns up, or something like that. And anyway, so they become familiar with each other, whatever you want to say. And then when Michael Steele in 1996 starts getting these calls from the undercover police officers, what are they called again? Billy and John, the Irish brothers. When Michael Steele starts getting those calls, he rings up John Marshall. So it's really weird that Michael Steele's got this connection with John Marshall somewhere down the line. Really odd. Got no idea who this John Marshall guy is. No idea whatsoever. Apparently he went to the funeral of Pat Tate. And I think he paid for it actually, didn't he? From memory. I think he paid for Pat Tate's funeral. But yeah, the most interesting part about the whole John Marshall thing from my perspective is the fact that he was known to Michael Steele and they had contact both before and also after the murders. I find that, quite interesting. 186 of you here at the moment. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. Let's have a look here. Welcome, Hannah. Have you only just tuned in? Bloody hell, you're 30 minutes late, Hannah. Jesus Christ. Thank you for joining us. Much appreciated. Diablo DJ, he's here, back in the house. Right, well, Alan Knowles, welcome to you. Right, let's get on to the next question, shall we? Right, last one, actually. Kevin Smith, thank you for your question. I'm still not convinced this was a professional hit. It seems to me more of an emotional hit. Tucker suffered the worst injuries. I think someone has opened the driver's door, shot Rolfe in the side of the face. So he couldn't drive off. Then Tucker twice in the side of the face. Tate reacted, but by the time he did, they opened the offside rear door. And shot him in the liver. They have done the back of the head shots to Tucker, then Rolfe. I think Tate would have still been alive and conscious when this happened. Then I've walked around the front of the Range Rover, then shot Tate through the window. I've often wondered if the killer was picked up by a motorcycle, then away. I think there are various ways a motorcycle could leave the area. Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that assumption. Right, let's have a look at what you've. The reason I've brought it up is because it reminded me of that theory that Mr. Roy came out with a while back regarding Rolfe being shot first. Now, and I still think this is the least probably, or possibly, I should say, possibly the least likely chain of events. But as I said to you in a previous live stream, there's an extra shot to Rolfe that was unnecessary. It makes me wonder if that wasn't the last shot that Rolfe actually got, but was the first. And I think that's what Mr. Roy was talking about. It's unnecessary. It's like he's already dead, and they've decided to open the door and shoot him in the side of the face. So let's talk about that. Okay. So what we're looking at here is we've got Craig Rolfe, who's been shot basically square onto the side of the face, sort of around the cheekbone area. But he's also been shot in the back of the head. So the common train of thought is that someone exits the rear of the Range Rover here, so the offside rear door. The gunman approaches from the side. The weapon is pushed up against the headrest and the trigger's pulled. Rolfe is killed. Then it's most likely been aimed over to Tucker, where he's been shot. And then Tate's been shot in the abdomen. He's incapacitated. The two in the front, either Tucker is out of it and basically nearly dead or almost dead, but Rolfe is certainly dead, so the vehicle's not going anywhere at this point. Now, interestingly, the gunman at this point in time has presence of mind, and I think this is something that's hard to get across to people sometimes, because some people just think, okay, you open the door, you pull the trigger, bang, 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 easy peasy, and away you go. But this has been done in a methodical way, and I'm trying to get this across. So we've got the first shot, Rolfe's dead, Tucker's been shot, probably possibly fatally wounded, but we don't know. He's obviously not going anywhere anyway, let's put it that way. Tate's been shot in the abdomen. The gunman at this point in time hasn't continued to fire or shoot off, unnecessary rounds or unnecessary cartridges. The gunman has most likely at this point, based on the direction of the footprints at the front of the vehicle, the gunman has most likely at this point walked around to the front of the vehicle, come down this side. Tate is obviously leaning up against the window here. The driver has aimed from some distance away, pulled the trigger, and that shot has skimmed the top of Tate's head. So again, they still haven't got this clean kill shot administered to Tate at this point. The gunman then walks closer, puts the gun behind Tate's head, shoots him behind the ear and back of the head. Tucker's shot in the back of the head, and at this point they're all dead. So then we're supposed to believe that the gunman then walks back, either around the back of the vehicle or around the front, whichever, opens the door of the Range Rover, and then shoots Craig Rolfe in the side of the face, even though he's already dead. Now, that's the point that Mr. Roy was trying to make when he told me about it. It's like, why would you do that? If he's dead, it's like it's unnecessary. And I know you might say, to send a message or whatever. But they're committing murder. The whole point of doing this is that you fire off as less cartridges as you need to get the job done, and that you get in and out there in a very fast, very clean manner. You're not there to send a message. They're dead. And they're dead. There's no need to send a message. They're dead. What is the necessity for that extra shot to the side of Rolfe's face? So from there, he basically said, well, could it have been that the attack actually originated from the front? And that's kind of what that poster or that question is stating there. That the first shot was to the side of Rolfe's face, then to possibly Tucker, then Tate, and then they were all administered kill shots. So Tate, back of the head, Tucker, the back of the head. He can't access Rolfe's head because his head is against the headrest. So rather than push it forward or whatever and shoot him behind the ear, the gun has been put up against the headrest and then the trigger pulled. So it depends which way you look at it. I mean, I would still say it probably is most likely that the gunman did start from the rear, because I would find that quite difficult to have the open driver's door without Rolfe driving off. But I mean, maybe they were there meeting people that they'd met before. You know, like they've met up with some, you know, Michael Bowman before for the handover of that gun. If they're obviously meeting someone they trusted, or they didn't think they were in any danger because they weren't armed, or they most likely weren't armed, were they? So could it have been that Rolfe's door was open and they didn't actually suspect anything? And the gunman actually approached from the front, bang straight into the side of the face of Rolfe, bang straight into the side of the face of Tucker, round bang into Tate, round to the other side of the vehicle, and that maybe that's what happened. And then the shot to the back of the head of Rolfe, maybe that was administered last because his head was, as I say, was against the headrest, and rather than touch it or move it, they just put the gun up against the headrest and pulled the trigger just to make sure. I don't know. I think either's quite likely, actually, to be honest. Right, let's have a look. So we've done all the questions now. So I'm just going to zoom in on this a minute and then catch up with some of the chat. And then I'll probably leave you all, I'd imagine. But we'll see how we go. Excuse me. Right, spare with me, guys. Just going to catch up with the chat here very briefly. 191 of you here at the moment. Thank you for joining me this evening. Melanie Jones, welcome to you. Chris Ferris, thank you. Reese Holly. Let's have a look here, see if I've missed anybody. I don't think I have. As I say, yeah, at the moment, now that we've got everybody here, currently we're doing private live streams for members, only 2 or 3 a week. 2 or 3 a week, I wish. 2 or 3 a month, sorry. Primarily, all the live streams that I'm doing, or basically 95% of them, are public ones, just like this one. Usually, I'm going to do like 2 or 3 of those a week. But for members of the channel, to give back to people who have become members, who are kindly supporting the channel a little bit, there's going to be 2 or 3 live streams per month just for members, private live streams just for members. I did one just recently, which went really well. So thank you for those guys who turned up for that. If you wish to become a member of the channel, you can find out how to do so in the video description box below. It gives you priority response for comments, and also, as I say, access to the private live streams, which will be, as I say, 2 or 3 a month just for the members of the channel. And before I go, I think what I'm going to do is just quickly catch up with the chat, see if there's any more questions. If you've got any more questions, fire them in now or forever hold your peace. And as I say, for the next one, guys, make sure you get on that question thread on the community part of the channel. If you go onto the community post and put in your questions for the next live stream, that would be much appreciated. More questions we have, the longer the streams will go. Reese Holly, do you think the pizza man found him? Probably not. No, I wouldn't have thought so. Although it was kind of ironic, wasn't it? Like when he appeared in that newspaper article after the event and said it couldn't have happened to a nicer person, or whatever it was. Yeah. Larry Jimbob, Christ, the blast from the past. He's here. Welcome to you, Larry. Hope you're doing well. Let's have a look here. Shirley, they must have been unarmed. Would you take someone else's gun? Yeah, I certainly don't think they were armed that night. And why would they be? They were going for a meal. They were going for a meal, weren't they, at 8 o'clock? So highly unlikely that they were armed. Yeah. Yeah, what's this all about gifting membership? I don't know what that's all about. Ryan, yes, gift a membership. I tried. The thing is, Ryan, I've got to buy 5 memberships to be able to gift them. I can't just buy one. And like, so, yeah. Sadly, yeah, it's not going to happen. Get me on there. The stream will. I've told you, Essex True Crime. Essex True Crime is welcome on the stream whenever he wants to. What you need to do, guys, is go onto Essex True Crime's channel, put in the comment section of his videos, please appear on Crime Scene to Courtroom's channel. Just keep bothering him. I really do want Essex True Crime on here. We could have like a 2-hour bloody live stream with him on here. Easy peasy. Crav Kerno, as mentioned above, give me a yell if you ever fancy doing something on the boring legal stuff. What's that about? I've missed your comment. Where is it? Hang on a minute. Where is his comment? Mr. Kerno. Mr. Kernel. Where are you? Put the comment in there again because I can't see it. There's too many comments. Copy and paste your previous comment, Mr. Kerno, regarding the boring legal stuff. Let me know what you're on about. Could listen to you talk about them three all day long. It's funny, isn't it? Because people say to me, God, you must go to bed and dream about this. And I don't. The thing is, I don't think about this case at all. Ever. Apart from when I do my videos. If I did, I would probably be in a mental asylum by now. When I first found the statements, I used to think about it all the time. When I was actually first reading the statements and trying to piece things together and coming up with different ideas and different theories, and trying to replay the events that happened, I think about it a lot, but I never ever think about the case at all, apart from, okay, what's my next video going to be? Let's have a look through some of the statements, see if there's anything I haven't covered. Let's have a look at some of the articles. Unless I'm actually doing a video or doing this live stream, I don't think about it at all, ever. It never even comes into my mind, ever, weirdly. Mind you, it's probably because I've been doing it for so long. And I probably would be committed to a mental institute if I did. I do some legal YouTube things with Black Belt Barrister. Interesting. So if you ever fancy doing a crossover about all the legal issues, let me know. Yeah, I'll be interested in that. I'm trying to think of how I can bloody send you an email. Can you, Mr. Kerno, can you put a new comment on one of my videos, and I'll reply to you with the channel's email address, and you can email me. We'll get on that, definitely. Just send me a comment, put a comment on any video, new comment, and I'll respond. I'll reply to it with my business email, and you can contact me through there. Let's have a look here. What do you think about him owning his own pigeon shooting club? Who, me? Me, or who you on about? Donna. What does Donna say? Did you look into Barry Dorman's son statement? He mentions Rolfe driving around in the Corrado days before it was brought to the showroom to be sold. No, I will have a look at that. Won't do that afterwards, but I will do that tomorrow. Look at this. Lenny Russell gifted a crime scene to Courtroom membership. What a legend. I was just having a look earlier, Lenny. You've been a member for 11 months now. It's crazy. Oh my God, Essex True Crime is a member now. Crazy. You have done, Paul Hudson, you have done an excellent analysis on this case. Thank you. No, thanks for watching. You know, if the videos weren't watched, I probably wouldn't be doing it. So I do appreciate your continued support. Like I say, I don't know how long this Essex Boys stuff's going to go on for. I really don't. There's got to come a point where I'm doing something else. I mean, my ideal situation is I have a real interest in this Delphi murders. But that case at the moment is kind of in a really sort of in-between sort of place. They haven't made any arrests, so I'm sort of holding back on doing any future content regarding that case. And then also we've got this documentary supposedly coming next year, haven't we? And I want to dissect that. I want to take a look at that and talk about that on the channel. So, bloody hell, I'll probably be doing this till I'm not 100 if I ever live that long. Crime scene to Courtroom in a straitjacket. Interesting thought. Yeah, I could probably do a bit in a straitjacket, shall I be honest? Let's have a look here. Yeah, thanks for gifting that sub, Lenny. Really do appreciate that. It's very kind of you. I hope Mr. Essex True Crime, yeah, he's thanked you. So yeah, really do appreciate that. Thank you. I mean, someone else told me also earlier on that the freedom of information thing expires after 30 years or something like that. So we can possibly try and get more information or more of the documents. I don't know how true that is. I would imagine by the time it does get to 30 years, I'll still be making these videos. So I could hopefully I'll get a whole new list of material to use. That'd be good, wouldn't it? If anyone wants to support the channel, you can find out how to do so in the video description box below. You can send a super chat or whatever, become a member of the channel. But yeah, I think to find what if you just put there, click on the $ in the chat, Ryan. Yeah, I think that's to gift memberships, I think. All right, let's have a look here. Right, let's just change the photograph. I'm just going to chill with you guys for a little bit longer before we head off. And then, as I said, I don't know when the next stream is going to be. What's today? Monday. Might do one tomorrow night. We'll see. Possibly on Wednesday. Yeah, I have to check my diary. See what's going on. Right, let's catch up with some of you in the chat here. Yeah, thanks for that kind comment, Paul. Much appreciated. And once again for Lenny Russell for gifting that membership to Essex True Crime. Essex True Crime says, I think about it 24/7. But yeah, but then how long have you been... I mean, you've been looking into this for ages as well, haven't you? Like, quite a while. Quite a while. Let's have a look here. Crime scene to courtroom. I heard Steele was dropping vintage... Crime scene to courtroom. I heard Michael Steele was dropping vintage Jack Daniels and you took them out. Haha. Yeah, God, Jack Daniels. I haven't had a Jack Daniels for a little while now. When I say a little while, how long has it been? Oh, about a week. The thing is, I don't drink at home. So, well, not very often anyway. But it is nice to chill with a Jack Daniels and Coke of an evening. Yeah. Let's have a look here. Mr. Kerno. Yeah, so don't forget to send me a comment, Mr. Kerno, on one of my videos. Just put any comment, anything you want. Just put hello or whatever, and I'll pick it up. He said, I really like what you do, as it's a bugbear of mine that legal cases are never accurately reported, so I appreciate your deep dive into all the background and that you show sources. Thank you. Much appreciated. I do appreciate those kind words. Yeah, excuse me. Yeah, I'd love to be involved in some sort of legal discussion. Black belt barrister, I've heard of him. So yeah, definitely up for that. Right, let's have a look here. There's something else I was going to say. Oh, God. My mind's gone blank. Jesus, what was it? Oh, hang on a minute, guys. Let's get the old cogs turning in a minute. Give me a second. No, it's gone. Probably think of it in a minute. Lenny Russell, crime scene courtroom. Are you still intent on pulling off Nichols? Look, I could pull off Nichols, all right. I've already done the Darren Nichols home videos. Don't you got a diary Oscar-winning performance that I portrayed? You know, Darren Nichols. I know what you're getting at because you're always taking the piss. But I want a part in one of these films. I want to either be like, I don't know, a judge or a, what do you call it? A solicitor. Maybe I just want a little part in one of these films, or maybe I'll just play Darren Nichols. Like I said, I reckon I could pull him off, possibly, but not in that way. You dirty bugger. I was going to say something else then. Let's have a look. Essex True Crime. The Sky documentary is coming. How long have you been looking into this case, Essex True Crime? Ian Green, same Delphi. Oh Christ, wrong button. Same Delphi case is crazy. I.e., the Keegan Klein catfished the girls, and some people saying the bridge guy could be the mayor. Yeah, just to give you a little bit of background, Ian. I don't know if you know what's going on regarding that. So basically, Keegan Klein was, I believe, he was taken somewhere recently, and there's a bridge like a mile from his house, and they've had police divers there for like, I don't know if it's 9 weeks, a long time. They're basically searching this river for what people believe is a weapon. People are saying that Keegan Klein has basically given the police information, and he's turning basically, and they're expecting like arrests to be made imminently, but nothing's happened yet. It's really weird. I don't know if they found anything in that river or what, but yeah, it's bloody hell, such a fascinating case, that one. Really fascinating. Let's have a look here. Let's have a look. Rich, have you found out much info on the David McCarthy? I think you mean John McCarthy, who was meant to buy the cocaine from the robbery. I've mentioned him actually a little bit earlier. I'm not sure if you were here. I haven't found out any information regarding him, to be honest. He's very much an unknown quantity. Wayne Holland, I've got a mate to start watching your videos. He watched the first 30 over the weekend. Nice one, Wayne. What's his name? I'll give him a shout out. That's awesome. Yeah, it's crazy. Some people say like, oh yeah, I'll go to work and I'll share your videos, and then we watch them on our lunch break. I can't believe some people watch my videos in the gym. Wasn't that you, Shirley, that said that? Can't even believe that. Who the hell would want to listen to me in the gym, man? Jesus. And you go to bed listening to me. Christ. Living the dream. Yeah, give us his name, Wayne. I'll give him a shout out quickly before we go. George Drum, welcome to you. Thank you for your kind comment. Let's make our own crime scene to courtroom movie. Yeah, I mean, we could make a hell of a movie if we had the funding, and we knew what we were doing, obviously. Did Donna Jaggers leave Rolfe and then return? Do you mean in a relationship sense? I have no idea, but I don't think so. Apologies, I went to score the day. Yeah, it's John McCarthy. Let's have a look here. What's the name of your Facebook group? Essex True Crime. I'm not sure what it's called. You can put it in. You can put it in the chat one time. Let's have a look here. Yes. Oh my God, it's funny actually. I haven't told anybody this. So basically, I play tennis. Obviously, you know I play a lot of tennis. You know I love my tennis. I play with this guy who was a prison officer, and he's retired now. And he was like, oh yeah, you know, I was telling him about the channel and this, that and the other. And he's from up north somewhere, I think. And he actually checked in Kenny Noy when he was done, when he was sent down. And he said that Noy couldn't believe that he had been sentenced, basically. He couldn't believe that he'd actually got sent down. I can't remember what this was for. I have a feeling it's something to do with the Brinks Mat stuff, but I'm not sure, not 100% sure. It wasn't to do with the killing of Stephen Cameron. But yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, so a guy that I'm actually seeing him tomorrow, but yeah, he's had first-hand dealings with Mr. Kenny Noy. Right, let's have a look here. Copyright, what's that? What do you want about Essex True Crime? Let's have a look here. Yeah, Dr. Toxic Cookie. Yeah, well, hopefully I'm going to get one of those iPhone 14 Pro Maxes soon. So hopefully I'll have some decent filming abilities for when I go down the lane, especially with that action mode, so it's not so bloody wobbly when I'm walking my dog. So yeah, that should be pretty cool. I should be getting that in the next couple of weeks. So next time I'm up in Essex, I'll be heading down the lane to do a bit of footage. I need a cameo. That's what I need. I need a cameo in one of these films. It'd be great. I mean, it'd work out perfectly, wouldn't it? I could promote the film on here, which reaches a lot of people, and then I'd get my shining moment. You know, my starring role in a film. It'd be awesome. I'd love that. Oh, that's interesting. That's funny. He's someone else I play tennis with as well. I think I'm seeing him later this week. Crime Scene Courtroom. Did you say you were going to involve your friend who is a pilot? Yeah. I'll speak to him when I see him later on in the week. I think I'm seeing him either Wednesday or Thursday. But he used to fly in the military, doing night operations, all that sort of stuff in helicopters, and he's also now a commercial pilot who flies for TUI or whatever they're bloody called. So he said that he would quite happily come on the channel, talk about how possible it would be to land a plane or drop something out of a plane from a certain height or whatever. He's very clued up in all this sort of stuff. He's been a commercial pilot for the last 4 years. And yeah, I thought it'd be just quite interesting to speak to someone who's got first-hand experience of flying, just to give us a bit of input on the surrounding area of White House Farm and how likely it would have been that a plane could land or all that sort of stuff. Yeah, so always good to have people on who know what they're talking about. That's what I say. Dan Carter, legendary. There we go. He won't watch this till he's watched all the rest, but his name is Dan Carter. Dan Carter, much appreciated. When you get to this video, you'll probably be fed up because this is probably video 391. So by this time, you probably would have grown grey hair and probably would have lost your mind as well, I'd imagine. So Andy Spencer, what happened to the Range Rover? Oh, Essex True Crime. You can answer this one. Well, people say that it's been sold, but whether that's true or not, I do not know. Rich G. Every time I say your name, I think of the biscuit. You know, Rich T. Rich G. Do a video showing where the three lived at the time of the murders. Yeah, at some point, I did actually. Where did I drive to? I've driven to the halfway house a few times, and I haven't actually ever done a video from there. So there's videos that I still need to do, like halfway house, the locations, other locations, the addresses, whatever. Yeah, so that'd be quite interesting. And also, I went to that the other pub, you know, where Steele was supposed to have his Hilux, where they go back to take all their gear off. What's it bloody called? The Hungry Hippo. No, it's now called the Traveller's Joy, whatever it's called. Yeah, I've been to that pub as well, but I haven't got a video from there either. So maybe next time I go up there, I will get some video footage of those places. Yeah, definitely. Right, not doing a TikTok yet. No, I don't even know what TikTok is. What is it? It's like some bloody thing for kids, in it, where you like, I don't even know what it is. What? Like, tell me how I could work on TikTok. I don't understand it. I thought it was like 30-second video clips or something. Let's have a look here. Yeah, I've got no idea how I would work on TikTok. Maybe I should bloody join up. I don't know. I'll have to have a look into that. Let's have a look. Essex Morning Crime Cigar. Yes. Right then, guys. I'm going to leave you here for this evening. Thank you so much. It's bloody flown by this hour. Really appreciate you joining us this evening. Please, 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 however easy your question is, whether it's about myself, the stream, or the case, do pop on to the community section of the channel. You can do that by going onto the main page of my channel, selecting community, and there's a post on there where you can put your questions. Please put your questions for the next live stream. As I said earlier, the more questions we get, the longer the streams will be. And as I say, if you want access to the private live streams, you can become a member to do that. Private live streams just for members only. You can find out how to become a member of the channel by looking in the video description box below. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me this evening. Thank you to Essex True Crime for being the spanner that he is and keeping the chat clean and tidy. Much appreciated. Might do one tomorrow. Might do one on Wednesday. You'll just have to wait and see. I'll let you know tomorrow though. If we're going to go live tomorrow, I'll put a post out and let you all know. But anyway, I appreciate you all. I love you, and I will see you very soon. Goodbye. Goodbye, everybody.